Whenever I'd go on a diet, I'd realize this weird phenomenon. When I did nothing, I was idle and stayed on the couch, I'd get really hungry and go scavenging for food in the fridge. When I was busy, when I was doing a lot of work, when I was focused on exercise or running a business, I would forget hunger for hours. And why the hell does this happen? It's very interesting because common sense would suggest that the more active you are, the more things you do, the more energy you use, you would be more hungry. So why do we feel hungry when we are being idle? This is at the core of the issue, and it's actually one of the main reasons why people fail to get lean, because they're unable to discern which kind of hunger they are facing. Are they facing the genuine hunger that is the need for nutrition and energy, or are they facing another kind of hunger that originates from somewhere deeper? So where then does this come from? This hunger that doesn't originate from the need for food? I think many of you intuitively, you know the answer already. We tend to reach for food when we're bored. We tend to reach for food when we're stressed. We tend to reach for food when we're anxious. And these kinds of situations clearly show us that hunger is masking something a little bit deeper. Next, I love this movie, this Korean movie called Burning, where the main character Hemi is explaining to her friend why she's going to Africa to this tribe. And she describes little hunger and great hunger.
Little hunger는 그냥 배가 고픈 사람이고 Great hunger는 삶의 의미에 굶주린 사람이래.
Do you have little hunger or do you have great hunger? And the way you can tell is that when you have that craving from the great hunger, you'll realize that you don't reach for healthy food. You reach for food that can mask your sense of boredom and anxiety and stress. And this usually means processed food, sugary foods, foods that are so heavy on the dopamine receptors that they make you kind of forget the inner sadness and anxiety and loneliness that you might have. You may have healthy steak right there, but you'll still just opt for that Dorito pack or whatever else you keep in the fridge. You've been there before. You go for the brownie, you go for the cookie, whatever it is. Next, and this raises the question, what are you trying to fill with food? What are you trying to mask with food? A lack of affection, a lack of self-esteem, a lack of confidence, a lack of love, a lack of companionship, a lack of purpose. And these are all deeper roots that may come up as great hunger. Next, then you begin to ask the question, well, why does this happen? It really comes down to the evolution of our food environment, because back in the day, we couldn't eat really bad processed sugary food. If you imagine like the indigenous population in the US or the caveman days, people used to just eat when they actually felt the need for food. And it was this very healthy cycle of listening to your body, listening to the signals, and then getting food when your body genuinely needed it. But then what happened is that we started to systematize and divide up the day into times where you eat. So you eat breakfast at 8, lunch at 1, and dinner at 7. This could be explained with many different theories. One logic might be the need to sell in a capitalist society, the need to sell to make the food industry as profitable as possible. Another would be we want to systematize daily life so that the working population can be fed, so that they can go to the factories and they can work. If you read Foucault, he talks about this, and you can kind of see how in prisons and boarding schools, in these kinds of places, your day is divided up so as to control when you eat, how you feel, how you move. And this is basically happening at the same time as our food environment becoming corrupted. So now you have a situation where you eat when you're told, and the food that you eat kind of paralyzes you. There's this beautiful story of an experiment where a lot of like babies with lots of deficiencies were exposed to a lot of different kinds of whole foods. And the babies instinctively knew which food their body needed, and they would gravitate towards eating that kind of food. It was just purely this bodily instinct of knowing what is required for your body at a given moment. So why does the baby have that? Because for millions of years our bodies evolved so that the gut can send you genuine signals as to what you need to eat. This connection has been cut, has been interrupted by your food environment that has so much sugar and processed additives that inhibit this signaling from the gut to the brain. So what you need to do is practice eating whole foods and eating as clean as possible so that you can start to restore that gut-brain connection. Next, the more you become conscious of all the things that we just talked about, you can actually start to see when a hunger signal comes, whether this originates from little hunger or let's say genuine hunger as opposed to great hunger. You also start to become conscious of the kinds of foods that your body needs in a certain time. Like you'll go to the grocery store and certain foods will just resonate with you more, and you'll be more drawn to the vibrational energy of this kind of food as opposed to this other kind of food. It's crazy, like nowadays I go to the grocery store and the whole like crisps and chocolate section, it just doesn't have the same impact that it used to have on me. It doesn't pull me, it doesn't make desire arise within me. Whereas when I see like avocados and like really green like Italian parsley, I'm like drawn to it, like I want the thing. Same for like really like healthy looking red meats. So all of this is restoring that kind of conscious sensitivity into your body so that you can be drawn by that ancient wisdom of your body to the foods that your body actually needs, and therefore you can practice conscious eating and then just shoving your face with Big Mac. Next, it's so easy now because we're all addicted to processed food to just sit there and be like, okay, dopamine, I want it, I'm gonna get the cookie. But instead what you want to do is start to actually think of food as a reward for something that you've done. This is why fasting is such a powerful practice, because you can focus on getting work done, focusing on being productive in the first half of your day, so that eventually when you eat the food, it kind of subconsciously creates this connection that you deserved food through hard work. And the hunger is more likely to be genuine because you genuinely used energy through hard work. So get in the habit of earning your hunger. Next, when you eat the food, after eating that food, do you feel more alive? Like, is there more life energy in you, or do you feel more dead? Now, you can probably imagine certain foods, you know, Big Macs, Domino's pizzas, fried food generally kind of makes you go, ugh. Whereas citrus, grapefruit, steak, salads, Italian, Mediterranean salad, you eat it and you feel like, let's go. So start to become aware of the kinds of effects that certain kinds of food has on not just your fat levels, but on your general mood and livelihood, and a sense of energy inside you. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I'm realizing very, very recently. And I hope this helps you become a more wise chooser of food. I hope this made sense. See you in the next video.